Oatmeal Raisin Nut Cookies, delish. But a regular oatmeal raisin nut cookie has about 10 grams of sugar. I'm going to show you how to make them with about 3 grams of sugar, and it's super easy. We're going to keep all the flavor, we're going to cut all the sugar out. Let me show you how. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take all these dry ingredients. I've got 3 cups of oats. I'm going to pour them in here. I've got a cup and a half of flour, and this is regular whole grain flour. You can use spelt, soy. If you're gluten intolerant, feel free to get creative with it. You can even use soy flour, buckwheat flour, coconut flour, any of that. And next we're going to add the secret ingredient, sunflower seeds. Super high in omega-3, omega-6, gives the cookies a delicious flavor. Raisins. Got to have some raisins. So we're going to throw a half a cup of raisins in there. And so we're going to take the dry ingredients, and we're going to go ahead and mix these up. And we'll let these go for a couple minutes. Perfect. That looks awesome. That looks awesome. And so it should look something like this, dry. And we're going to go ahead and throw that back in this bowl. And so we're going to set the dry ingredients aside. Now we're going to take this coconut oil, and I'm using coconut oil, but you can use butter. If you wanted to, you could use shortening. But I'm using coconut oil because of it's loaded with good fats, has some good omega-3 oils in it, and we're going to put that in there. And I'm using Fructivia to sweeten it. And this is the Fructivia, and there is about a cup. You can adjust that for whatever you want your flavor to be. Some people like them a little sweeter. And I've got 2 tablespoons of molasses. That'll give this like a little bit of a brown sugar flavor. Adds a lot of richness to the recipe. Real low sugar, mostly for the flavor. And then I've got a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Add that. Salt. Creates a good contrast between the sweetness and the saltiness. And finally, we've got a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now we'll go ahead and fire this back up again. And we're going to let this run for a little bit until basically it creams the coconut oil, makes a sort of a rich paste out of it. I would say keep it going for a couple minutes. Perfect, perfect. And here you go. This is about how it's supposed to look, sort of a pasty consistency. And now that we have that, let's go ahead and let's add the dry ingredients back in. There we go. Okay, so we'll go ahead and fire this up. And we'll let this go for a couple minutes. Until it starts to form little clumps. And those are going to be our cookies. So let's have a look at it. So you should be able to take one of those cookies, like so, roll it around in your hand, press it flat, and have it look like this. Perfect size, perfect consistency. So once we have that dough ready, we can start making our cookies. I usually make these on a cutting board because it's easier. And take about a handful of, the dough like this. And I use the back of a glass to kind of smash them down. Gives them good consistency that way. And that's what your cookie looks like. Perfectly. Drop those onto a cookie sheet. If you find that your consistency isn't quite moist enough, feel free to add a little bit of water. This is the consistency that we're looking for. Something like this. And this is the size I go with. You can go with a little bit bigger cookie, but I like them this size because they're about 10 to 15 calories each. So we have the oven preheated to 350 degrees, and now we're going to throw them in for 8 to 10 minutes. So check these babies out. 15 calories each. You can give these to your kids virtually guilt-free. You can give them to yourself guilt-free. Delicious. So for more recipes like this, go to our website at www.steviva.com. And bon appetit. Good.